Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Alerio Gold's channel, mining gold in Guyana during a commodities boom. Joining us today is the technical advisor, Timothy Strong. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you on. So this is kind of our first introduction here because you kind of came on from Kangari Consulting here to help expand some of the PEAs on these projects. But first and foremost, how did you get involved with Alerio Gold and just kind of what value are you providing to the shareholders here?
Exactly. So I got involved with Alerio Gold back in the latter end of last year. I actually wrote the 43-101 for the Tasawini project in Guyana. That sort of came off the back of knowing the Alerio team, wanting to be involved with them, and also having a good background of the geology of Guyana and also West Africa, which shares a similar geological setting.
Now, how are you expanding that project forward for them? How are you building out that PEA, and just kind of any insights you can just shine on the project here?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Tasawini project has had, I think, $34 million worth of expenditure on it, 50,000 meters of drilling. It's almost got nearly 500,000 ounces of gold. What we want to do in the first sort of play is take a look at all the data that's been collected before, repurpose that, reinterpret it with fresh eyes, build together a solid geological story, and then redo the resource model with our new interpretation, see where we get. We know that the deposit is open along strike and at depth, so we'll be considering that when we're repurposing the data. And then we look forward to planning more drill holes, more trenching, getting the team on the ground. There's already a camp in place. So whilst we're doing this data reinterpretation, we will look at repurposing that camp, recommissioning it, getting a solid local team together, and then really build up the picture from there. And as you said earlier, the end game there would be to have a PEA in place before the end of the year. As you also mentioned, with the compelling gold market right now, we are ultimately positioned to have a great success story here.
Yeah, and before we kind of talk about the commodities market, real briefly, do you want to expand on the timeline a little bit? Because if you're expecting to have that PEA by the end of the year, just how are you going to framework this out, and when can we start seeing some of that news flow hit the results here?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, me and my team are already working on the reinterpretation of the data. We want to do a solid job of that, so a few weeks to get that done, and we're searching for a resource geologist right now to redo the mineral resource. We're looking by May we should have a good reinterpretation and solid plan going forward from then, and then get the teams in the ground, get some trenching done, get the camp open, all through the summer. Then, study timelines, depends on how long it takes to get the resource done. But we look to put together the basic mining parameters, the economics that go along with the PEA, and the community and environmental parts, which are so important nowadays, to get that all together and pull it into a compelling story.
So this should be a pretty pivotal year leading up to some of what you guys are doing there. Now, before we kind of further expand here, I want to just take a look at the macroeconomic view, because my goodness, man, we got gold trading over 2,000 an ounce. There seems to be a massive disconnect between kind of the junior miners and what's going on in the commodities market, because this is probably going to be one of the most expansive years across the entire commodities sector. And I wouldn't mind getting your opinion between the geopolitical, obviously, environment, hyperinflation. Every time interest rates have gone up in the past, gold has usually followed suit. So I'm really curious to see what your thoughts are and just any insights you have on the general market there.
Yeah, absolutely. In these uncertain times, and I feel like we've been saying that for over the past 2 years now, gold is always a safe haven, right? Unfortunately, I don't see that changing, anytime soon. The geopolitical situation that you speak of, it's not going to get better in the coming weeks and months, right? So gold is going to be forever strong. The gold price is going to continue rising, and we aren't seeing that flowing into the junior miners. But I think that will change, and as the mid-year comes, investors will realize that this is where the money is to be made. This is where the success is going to be, and that the money hopefully will finally come through.
For newer investors as well, do you want to just briefly touch on Guyana as like a mining friendly state and just kind of give like the political standpoint from there? Because obviously with the geopolitical tensions, people are probably pretty confused about the different markets and how exploration is treated in those kind of countries. Do you want to give that quick overview just to offer that insight to the newer audiences?
Absolutely. Guyana follows British law, something I'm very comfortable with coming from the UK originally. The mining law is very well set up for international investors. The government there are very pro-mining. They're ready to have new mines in the country. There are already multi-million ounce deposits there. One of the major things, and people always ask me this, how do you get around in Guyana? It's such a remote, it's 95% jungle, right? And that's actually one of the reasons that Tassawini is going to be a win, is because it has barge access straight from the ocean. So we are in the middle of the jungle. Let's not deny that, but we can get 1,000-ton barges straight up to the front door of the property. So I think most people write Guyana off as being very prospective but very hard to get into in terms of access. I think that's not a problem for our project, and also combine that with the government, who they're having a massive oil boom right now, or they're on the verge of it. So they're well into the natural resources sector and very happy to support mining.
Well, on that note, Timothy, I really appreciate your time today. I think you've offered some pretty incredible insights. Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. On that note, folks, I pass the question off to you. Let us know what you think about the commodities market, what's going on with Alerio Gold here in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as more news comes down the wire, we'll continue to update you here. But stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.